Your support helps us bring you programs you love. Go to wyomingpbs.org, click on Support, and become a sustaining member or an annual member. It's easy and secure. Thank you.
Wyoming Chronicle explores an innovative equine facilitated empowerment program serving youth, which incorporates the arts, community service, the outdoor classroom, and year-round mentoring. First in the program, we'll meet 4 students, and then we'll visit with Priscilla Martin, the program's creator. Located in western Wyoming, it's called Horse Warriors, and it's next on Wyoming Chronicle.
My name is Sophie Delahaye, and I first learned about Horse Warriors through my sister. She did the program way before me, and I remember watching her at the Gymkhana and really wanting to be her and riding horses and just experiencing the joy that she was having. So once I turned 6 and I was old enough to join the program, right away that's what I did. And then the first thing that I remember the first day coming to Horse Warriors and getting to meet my horse and my mentor and just meeting everyone around me and just having the best time ever. What I've gained from Horse Warriors is way more than just riding. For sure it's made me a better rider, but I've gained a lot of confidence. I remember the first day we did a drawing and we presented, and I was so nervous I couldn't even look at the audience. I was looking down, I could barely even talk, and now look at me, I'm talking on a TV show. But yeah, it's just definitely made my confidence a lot higher. I feel just a lot comfortable around people, and it's definitely made me a stronger, more powerful person. When I began teaching my parents, it was probably a challenge at first, for sure. I didn't know how to teach my parents because they were always teaching me, and I never got to teach someone because I had an older sister, so she taught me, and I didn't have any other younger siblings. So I was always really told what to do. I never got to tell anyone else what to do. So for directing my mom was definitely a big step for me. At first it was probably really intimidating, but I definitely grew up and was able to show my mom how to ride, and so yeah. Okay, when we meet monthly, even in the winter time, what we do is we do art projects, we ride. It really depends. We do a bunch of different stuff. It changes. My favorite thing was probably the mandalas that we made. That was a really fun project. Definitely Horse Warriors has made me a better artist. So coming here and doing art really makes me happy. And then riding is also really fun. I like riding bareback in the snow because it's definitely different from the summer when we ride in saddles. It's a whole new experience.
I'm Aspen, and the first thing I remember about beginning Horse Warriors was meeting my horse and being pulled aside and going and seeing the horse, and I remember that just feeling comfortable, and I remember it was the first time that I felt comfortable leaving my mom, and that I knew I was in a safe place and I could really be myself there. We don't only ride at Horse Warriors, we also do lots of art and journal, and that's really important because it shows you a way of being creative, and it also shows you a way of just showing how you feel in a safe way. And I can look back and see what I've learned and how far I've come, and that can be something very important for me. I'm a mentor now, but I got to teach my parents at first, and that was really weird for me because my mom had experience with horses, and I thought she knew everything about that, but she really didn't. And teaching her, I guess, felt really weird at first. I didn't know how to be a leader. I didn't know what to say, how to talk properly. when I was teaching, and teaching my mom, I guess, taught me that I can tell people things or correct them, and I don't have to feel bad about it because they are in a higher leadership role than I am. I really like Horse Warriors because I have a lot of fun, and I've really made a strong bond with my horse, and I enjoy being able to ride. I think also riding with friends or people I feel comfortable with all the time. And it's also really helped me be more confident in speaking. I'm nowhere near as shy anymore, and I feel like I can go and talk to a person and at a restaurant when I need food, and I won't feel bad about it. And I guess Horse Warriors has brought me a big amount of confidence that I lacked at first.
I'm Ainsley, and my role in Horse Warriors today is interesting as I am a few years older than the rest of the girls in the program. So I'm a mentor for the young kids, and I'm also a bit of a mentor for the other girls I ride with, just because I am older, so I do have a little bit more experience, not necessarily with horses, but with other aspects of life. So there are some girls who are still in middle school who I ride with, and I almost feel like an older sister to them. For me, mentoring is a responsibility that means I get to help kids become who they are and find their own ways in life. And that's really important because it can get really hard to do that as you get older. And so Horse Warriors has allowed me to really work with little kids in a way that I love and through their interests as well. I've been writing in journals since I can remember. I've always really loved writing, and Horse Warriors has given me opportunities to learn different ways to write, like poetry and free-flowing stream of consciousness writing. This is a poem I wrote last month during the writing workshop with Horse Warriors, and it goes like this. The day's heat is distant now. Cool evening air slings the sun lower. Golden rays of light cast long shadows across the horses munching hay. Here is calm. A voice cuts the silence. You belong here. We all spent a day in the barn painting, and we really focused on like the shape of the horse's eyes and the correct coloring and where the colors changed.
The skills I've learned from being in Horse Warriors are, of course, riding, but also art and writing as well. I've also learned a great deal of responsibility and, like I said, connecting with horses and connecting with people. Even confidence. I do feel more confident around people because I have been pushed to share my artwork in front of the other people in the program, and that was really hard for me at first because I didn't like being the center of attention. I didn't like talking in front of people, but now that I've practiced more with it, I have gotten used to it. This coming year in Horse Warriors, I hope to have more fun with the program and explore more with riding horses and drawing and writing, and I also hope to become a better teacher and mentor. So I have this mandala, and the first day we just kind of looked through symbols in books, and I looked at the ones that I was most interested in, and I just wanted to incorporate the horse because I love horses, and I feel like that's what this whole program is around. And I also wanted to incorporate the tree with growth and kind of incorporate the sun with that growth. I had the mountains for a journey, and yeah.
What about the numbers?
The numbers, it is incorporated with my name, so this is somehow connected to L-U-C-Y.
Priscilla Martin now joins us on Wyoming Chronicle. Priscilla, welcome.
Thank you, Craig.
We have had a chance to see some of your great students. And we want to talk about Horse Warriors from your perspective. Take us back to the very beginning. Why Horse Warriors?
Well, the very beginning came when I had been working with a therapeutic riding program. And a friend of mine had 5 Mustangs that really needed socialization. And we had learned about other programs that were working with teenagers and Mustangs. And at the same time, we had learned about another program out in Washington State where they were encouraging just lay people to start what they called circles, just discussion groups, because that was something that they, we were kind of losing in our culture. People were just going to a therapist to talk about things, and people used to gather around doing the dishes in the evening and just talk about life. So I had been very involved in our local school district with teenagers through something called Partners, which is in Jackson Hole, and then with Art and Literature and Nature at Teton Science School. And I knew a lot of young people who really were looking for mentors. They wanted input from adults who weren't their parents. So with those two things together, we came up with the idea of Horse Warriors, which would be a program that gave kids a chance to really explore who they were and work with horses at the same time, because a lot of kids love horses. So we actually started as a discussion group. Kids came to my house, we did a lot of art, we just sort of let them talk about things. It would be adult facilitated but kid driven. And that summer I said, anybody want to keep on doing this with horses? And about half the kids did. So we started with 6 kids. We had 4 middle school students and 2 high school students. We had 2 groups, and that was the beginning of Horse Warriors.
And now you've served over 200.
Absolutely. Now we've had a lot of kids go through our program, and one of the things about our program that's a little different from some others is that we really invest in them long term. So our kids will stay with us 7 to 10 years. So when we're not so much a large numbers organization, we're really deep. When we meet that family, we stick with them kind of through thick and thin as long as they want to stay in the program.
How does a family in its journey find you?
Usually they're referred either by their parents or by teachers in the school district. Some just hear about us from Facebook or the internet, but we really encourage kids and parents to start working with us at a point in their lives where things are going okay. And what we try and do is give them skills to weather the periods down the road where, just in normal growing or family transitions, things might come up that would be pretty challenging. So what we do is we start them early with good communication skills, with learning to create a really healthy relationship so that they can fall back on that when things are a little dicey, and they've had that experience of working very well together. And also because the way our programs are structured, a lot of times the children are teaching their parents. The parents have had that wonderful opportunity of really listening deeply to their children. And, I tell parents when they come into the program, here's one of the advantages, that you're going to build a relationship with your child where they're very comfortable sharing things with you, because you kind of want to know when there's a party and no parents are going to be there. So if you start now when your kids are young and you build this history of positive, healthy exchange of information, it's going to benefit you in the long run.
And when you say young, you're talking as early as 6 years old. 6,
yes.
And some people might be watching this and going, is that too young to be really introduced to horses, et cetera, in the way that you provide for something that could be long-term interest?
We did make the age of 6 because that's where we felt that a child could control our horses. Our horses are wonderful. They're very well trained. They're very kind. They live together as a herd. They're used to working with each other. They're pretty happy horses. And 6 just seemed to be the age where they could focus enough for 2 hours. Our sessions with our kids and parents programs are 2 hours long, and it gave them a way to start learning those two-way communication skills. They go from 6 to 11. Okay, so that's our Power Ponies Mighty Mustangs age group. And then when they're 12 and they have gone through 6th grade and had that first year of middle school and been exposed to the shock, I want to say, of peer pressure, they're in Horse Warriors then, and that's when we have them with a group of peers, and we're teaching them how to navigate some of those peer pressure incidents that come up. You know, as you've heard some of the other girls talk about their confidence growing so much in Horse Warriors, they really do learn who they are, and they're proud of that. They have that core identity, and that really helps during those adolescent kind of growth period years.
As your students have told us, it's not just about riding horses.
Right.
It's so much more. How did you come up with the curriculum, if you will, or the ideas that you lead in Horse Warriors and the other programs? How did those evolve for you?
Well, they came a lot out of my own experience. You know, I came out to Wyoming when I was in college, and I worked at a dude ranch in Jackson. I loved it. It was one of my favorite jobs ever. But I ran the kids program there, and one of the things that I learned doing that was to really listen to what they wanted. So I had a good history of building things that were, I want to call them kid-driven and adult-supervised. I had also started a program with the Snake River Institute years before, which was really, what do you want to learn? Well, I'd like to learn about radio broadcasting. I'd like to learn whitewater rafting. And we would do courses like that. So I listened to what the kids wanted. What they wanted to do, they wanted more art. They wanted to learn how to ride horses. They liked the idea of being a friend of a horse. I think that at that age when the kids are in that, you know, middle school, high school, friends are so important, and friendships are pretty volatile during that time, and they come and go, and you know, there's a little heartbreak and drama kind of every week in school. So teaching them how to build a long-term friendship, especially with something that doesn't care what you wear, doesn't care who your other friends are, they care how you are, and it brings them very much into the present. So we built on that kind of curriculum where you show up, you're who you are that day, your horse is there, they're going to read exactly how you are. They're not going to care what has happened before. And my personal skills were very much in, you know, a horsemanship background, and also an art and writing background. And my major in college was English and American literature, but I'd always done art. I'd had my own graphic design business and illustration business. So that was my toolkit. So I built it out of that and listened a lot to what the kids liked. They would always evaluate the program. What was your favorite thing? You know, what was the most challenging for you? So over the years, that's grown. You know, we're always tweaking our curriculum.
And you're not the only adult now who is involved with Horse Warriors.
No, we always have another, I call it an intern, but it's usually assistant for me in the summer. We have a lot of volunteers. A lot of our parents end up being volunteers. We have a wonderful board of directors that's very involved in the program. We have people who are horse people involved. We have people who just like kids who are involved. So we've been really lucky in expanding our circle.
And you're also expanding what you do across the country. You're teaching others.
Absolutely. That's been one of our focal points, is teaching the teachers. Equine facilitated programming is really blossoming now. It's gone beyond just the therapeutic riding, which was more working with people with physical and mental, you know, disabilities. Now it's expanded into life coaches. There's equine facilitated psychotherapy. What Horse Warriors focuses on is equine facilitated learning, which is life skills. Learning from the horses, and equine facilitated mental health. We always have a therapist who works with us when we are working with our families. When anything comes up that's a horse life skill issue, I'm qualified and certified to handle that. And when things come up that are family dynamics, or say long-term kind of ingrained patterns that might need to be shifted, those come out a lot when the kids are working with their parents, and we have a licensed therapist that does work with us, and you know, he or she will step in and do the therapy moment there when those kinds of things come up.
You also serve people and families who are affected by cancer.
Absolutely. We have a Cancer Kickers program, and that's a free program for, we call it people on the cancer journey. I don't really like the word survivors because it just sounds kind of brutal. But our Cancer Kickers programs are for people who have cancer and are working through healing. We serve their caregivers too, which is a whole population of people who've been very deeply affected by cancer, don't really have the same support that the person who actually has the cancer has. And then we do a section for families of people with cancer. You know, say you have a child in your family who has leukemia or something, and a lot of the family resources and attention has gone to that child, but there might be two siblings who really have taken a back seat. So we're able to give them a fun day too and say, hey, you know, you're just as important as your sibling who's, you know, on this cancer path.
You have this beautiful ranch in western Wyoming. It truly is beautiful.
Thank you.
How many horses do you have?
We have a whopping 19 horses right now, which is a wonderful, wonderful size, so that we can accommodate all kinds of needs, you know, between a person and a horse. It's a lot of horses to maintain.
It is, and there's some expense involved with that.
Oh, yes.
How is Horse Warriors funded?
Horse Warriors is funded largely through donations. And we have a small staff, a small paid staff. All of our money goes directly to program. We don't have a lot of administrative overhead or anything like that. The donation dollars that come to Horse Warriors, they go right out the door to the kids. A lot of our kids are on scholarship, which is wonderful. We never want to turn anyone away who really wants to be in the program. And the care of the horses is, you know, they need to be fed, they need to be shod, we keep them up to date on all their vaccines and deworming and their teeth floating and all that stuff. They get excellent care, and they're part of our family.
What hurdles have there been for Horse Warriors through the years that have been a little somewhat tough to overcome? Is it location? You're somewhat isolated in this part of Wyoming, yeah. As beautiful as it is. Are there other hurdles that you've had to overcome?
Fundraising is really one of the major aspects of our program, and I would say that's kind of an ongoing challenge for us. Is, you know, we always want to, like I say, make it available to anybody who wants to. Yes, we are in a pretty isolated area. Jackson is an expensive place to maintain a program. I think Jackson has the highest per capita income now in the country and one of the highest costs of living. We run our programs out of Jackson, but we haul our horses up from Star Valley. My husband and I bought this beautiful ranch a number of years ago just so we could cut down on some of the expenses of the overhead for Horse Warriors. But, you know, every day we load 8 horses into our big stock trailer and we drive up to Jackson and do our programs and ride up in the park and in the forest, and yep, there's a lot of time on the road.
In this world of social media and so many other things that kids are involved in today, what is your stereotypical, if you will, student, Priscilla, that comes to you? What might be their background? What might be what it is that they can really benefit from?
I would say our typical student is someone who doesn't really fit in the box. What I mean by that is, you know, the school is a certain way. Right now, I think social media is one of the biggest challenges for any child. And we have a very strict no cell phone rule at Horse Warriors. When you are here, you are relating face to face. You're learning to read that energy bubble from the other, whether it's your horse's energy field or your peers or me or any of the volunteers. You're learning how to do that dance back and forth of really meeting somebody where they are. So the students who we tend to get are kids who are finding that the norm isn't quite enough. You know, they're really hungry for that deep connection. And I think that right now in our culture, a lot of people are feeling that. It isn't just kids, it's kind of everyone is feeling a little bit disconnected. You know, you jump on Facebook to meet up with someone at some level, and we're teaching people you meet right here, right now. We are here. So our kids have come to us They are either recommended by a teacher in school who sees, you know, this is kind of a special kid. It really could use some good mentoring. Somebody who just sees the special spark in that child and is able to draw it out in a way that feels safe. And one of the things I'm very proud of, and I think some of our students mentioned this, is that Horse Warriors is a very physically and emotionally safe place to be. You know, we're very safety conscious.
Sure.
So we're trying to reach kids who are really looking for that little niche where they can just really blossom into who they are.
Priscilla, we have just about a minute left.
Okay.
You also bring in assistance to help facilitate writing and art.
Mm-hmm.
That's a major component of this program. How do you do that? How do you reach out to others to help you?
We are very fortunate to have the Wyoming Arts Council often funding our arts program, and so we have access to their roster of artists. So we'll draw from them and bring them in on our winter retreats, and we really rely on our community. We are so fortunate to have a community of talented people, and we just do a lot of outreach to them. A lot of people know about Horse Warriors and love what our kids do, and they're very happy to come in and help beef up those programs.
Well, Priscilla, throughout the show we've been noting your website on our program, and we urge anyone to go to that if they would like some more information or just to contact you directly. Absolutely.
HorseWarriors.com is our website, and HorseWarriors@Wyoming.com is our email, and we love to hear from people. We love all kinds of input on what we're doing.
It's truly a fantastic program that's providing some necessary support to Wyoming's young people. Priscilla, it's been a pleasure to visit with you and learn more about Horse Warriors.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to show off our kids. I'm very proud of them.